Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Forever Young. I'm your host, David C. Linton, and again, it's a pleasure to be here with you today on this platform, another presentation of Hope TV. And this is the show that really examines life for those of us who are over 50. You know, as I like to say, they say life begins at 40, so everything prior to that is a dress rehearsal. And so, with 50 being the new 40 and 60 being the new 50, age ain't nothing but a number. And of course, I'm always joined by my two lovely co hosts, and it's always a pleasure to have them. We call her beautiful, and she's beautiful, and she just celebrated a birthday. Of course, I'm talking about Miss Jean Hendricks. Hello, Jean.
Hi, David. How are you? And those of you in the audience, thank you so much for that introduction. And of course, I'm always glad to be a part of this session, Forever Young, because I am forever young. Back to you,
That's
David.
right. You are young and you're beautiful. And of course, the person who holds it all together, she wears so many hats behind the scenes that helps this program get started and then makes us look good. And that, of course, is Dr. Sharon Mitchell. Well,
Hi, David. It's so great to be on the show once again with you and the lovely, beautiful Miss Jean Hendricks. And happy belated birthday, Miss Hendricks. I'm so excited about today's guest in this show. Thanks for having me again.
well, today is like, it's funny. It's going to be interesting what we're going to talk about today. And always, before we get started, today we're going to talk about something that this is a show that's for forever young, for people who are over 50 or whatever. And, we're going to talk about something that is going to be kind of strange because you would think, with age comes experience and you kind of got things all together. Um, and today we're going to talk about a life coach. You think people over 50 need a life coach? So we're going to get into some of the nuts and bolts of all of that. But before we bring on our guest, Jean always has a little nugget that sets the stage for the program. Did you have anything or did you party too much on your birthday?
Yes, David, because the person I am, I will always be ready. And I found this one, and it says, born with a purpose. And I like this because it says, born on this earth with a purpose that has to be fulfilled. In order to meet the needs of God, it's a generation. Yes, I mean us, babies, children, and young adults in the field, doing Jesus' work to enhance the kingdom appeal. So I strongly say we're born with a purpose. Some that haven't yet been revealed, but God can help us. The reason for living and surviving, struggle, pain, disappointment, for I say there is a reason for everything. Back to you, David.
You know what? That is so, so true. There is a reason for everything. And there's a reason for this show is because we bring tips to those who think we've already got it all together. And so I'm so delighted today to introduce our coach today. Her coach name is Mantra Ashley. She's with Coaching Instinct 3 LLC, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about herself. And the topic for today is fulfilling your purpose. And so, you know, fulfilling life's purpose. Life's purpose, your purpose. We were just talking prior to coming on air. When you're doing something that you love, it's not work. And that's because maybe you're living in your purpose. And then maybe some of you are still trying to find your purpose, or your purpose may change as you get into different stages of life. So we're going to delve into some questions, and I'm going to shut up and just welcome our guest. Welcome, Miss Ashley.
Thank you so very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you all today. It is such a blessing.
Yes, it is, and it's a blessing for us to have you here. So, give us a little bit more information about your background and about your organization, Coaching Instinct. That's with a E, Instinct 3 LLC.
Yes. Well, first, I'll just share a little bit about myself. I'm married. I've been married to my husband now. It'll be 28 years in
Oh, wow.
August. And I
Right.
have one son. And I just actually recently published a new book. It's
Oh.
titled Trusting God in Dark Times. So I'm a new
Mm.
author. Hallelujah.
All right.
Amen.
Um, but just to tell you a little bit about Coaching Instinct 3, I am a certified life coach, and I specialize in several things: leadership, career, relational, spiritual, just a gamut of things, and even couples. But how Coaching Instinct 3 came about was I was in corporate America for about 20 plus years, and I was always in a leadership role, and I always managed people. And I got to a point where I just felt unfulfilled and was just kind of tired of being responsible for people. And I just wanted to do more. And my son was growing up, and I was just kind of watching him grow up before my eyes, and I was missing out on a lot. And so I began to pray about it and ask God, what to do. And I started applying for different positions within the organization, and it looks like no doors would open for me. And he just led me to walk away after almost 20 plus years. And initially when I got home, it was great. I enjoyed it, and spending more time with my husband and my son. But then after a while, I started to have that spirit of unfulfillment again, because I was just I had a daily routine, and then that routine became very mundane, and I just felt like I could do more than attend school recitals and do the teen mom and school mom stuff and all of those things. And I was just sitting on my couch one day, and God just said, I heard the word life coach, and I was thinking, okay, well, that kind of fits with my background, because I've always felt like I had an ability to be able to coach individuals to get to that next level. And it's always been natural for me to do that. So I was like, okay, well, that sounds good. But then, how am I going to do that? And then he said, go back to school. And I said, okay. And I really didn't want to do that, because I was tired of school. I had already obtained 2 degrees, and I'd always vowed that I would never go back to school. But long story short, I went back to school, and then I got the degree in life coaching. And then I said, okay, well, fine. I just felt like, my next step was going to be to go back into the corporate America and, serve as a coach for some organization. But lo and behold, God had a different plan, and he wanted me to actually start my own coaching business. And just backing up a little bit, during the time that I was actually in school, I like to journal. And I remember one day I wrote down 3 words. It was encourage, equip, and empower. And I really didn't know what those words meant at the time. And I just wrote it and kind of went on. And then several weeks later, um, after I had graduated, I heard God say, start your own practice. And I was like, wait a minute, because that's never been a dream of mine. I've never had an aspiration to be an entrepreneur. I never thought I would have my own business. But, out of obedience, I did. And I was like, okay, what am I going to name it? And I was just praying. And then one day, God said, what have you been doing all these years? So, it came to me, I've been coaching, and I have a natural instinct to help people. I have a natural instinct to be able to give advice and encourage people, and so on and so forth. And so the 2 words just came together, coaching instinct. And then how I got the number 3 is because the 3 main the goals of coaching instinct is to encourage, empower, and equip. And those are 3, comes in the number 3. So just to tie it all together is coaching instinct 3. But I spelled the word instinct with an E instead of an I to represent the 3 words that are incorporated with the coaching practice. So that's how coaching instinct 3 came about.
Okay. Wow,
Wonderful.
that's interesting. Is like we said, again, and it ties back to what we said. You said something in your before Jean asked the next question, because when I opened up the show, we said we're forever young, we're over 50, et cetera, et cetera. Why would we have a life coach? But you answered it by saying you got into another season of life, and you
Right.
needed to fill a void. And so,
Absolutely.
which we always tell our audience that each stages of life there's a time and season for everything. So so you're in a new season, you found something new to do, and so I hope that our listeners will get just a takeaway just for that from that
Right.
opening.
Right.
So Gene.
Right.
You all know him, my boy, Will Smith.
his tone is a very conversational tone, and he has the ability to be a storyteller because he is a actor. And so this book was more of a page turner.
I really enjoyed hearing and listening to him narrate the book. Also, I think it was a really great book because he was just so open and honest. And I mean, I don't think he really left anything out. I mean, he talked about everything in the book.
And I just want to throw this out there, that this is basically one of my favorite memoirs. And you know how I feel about the other book that I have read.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason Claiborne, and you're tuned in to Tea and Worship with my sister Mignon and my brother Chris and Corey on Hope TV.
Father God, who is Chris?
Did I make up a name?
You said 3 hoes.
I said
You said
three
3
hoes.
people.
Chris, wait a second, Chris. Chris. Let's do it again. Oh my God. What's up, everybody? This is Jason Claiborne, and you're watching Tea and Worship with Mignon and Corey on the Hope TV. All right, I don't know where Chris came from. Bless all the Christians in the world right now.
Yes, Ashley, thank you so much for that. Now, if you could be just a little bit more specific for our audience to tell us exactly what is life coaching.
Well, I mean, life coaching is basically, I don't like to get too deep about it because sometimes, we have textbook answers, but, for people, you want them to know that I'm here for you. And my little simple definition of life coaching is just someone that will walk alongside of you to help you to accomplish your goals and get to that next level, to help you get unstuck. And then whatever that means that goes along with that, allowing you to reinvent yourself, providing you with tools and resources to be able to accomplish that, finding out what works for you. And believe it or not, there are a lot of individuals that have been in the workforce or have been doing certain things and they don't know their purpose, and you spoke about that initially. And you spend 20, 30 years doing something and you thought that that's what you were called to do, and only to find out that that's not what, that you were put on this earth to do. And so as a life coach, I've assisted people in finding their purpose and finding out, why they were here, trying to help them to get to their destiny, trying to help them to accomplish those goals. And some people don't have goals, believe it or not. They just feel like, let me get up, let me go to work, let me come home, let me cook, let me do this, help the kids or help my husband. They have the same old routine each and every day. And that's what they have resulted to, this is going to be their life. So a life coach is there to help with that shift, help with that transition. Let's get you to that next state. Let's get to that next level in your life so that you can live a life that's fulfilled, so that you can live a life that you feel accomplished, that you feel like you matter, that you're doing something, that you're worth something, and you're not just here, just sucking up air, or wasting space.
Wow.
Thank you. That was very enlightening.
So Miss Ashley, when you talk about life coaching, now you've given us a little bit about what it is. You talked about going back and getting a degree for it. Is there a specific degree that you have to have? Because I know people that are calling themselves life coaches, and I don't know whether they've got the credentials. So how do we know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There, you can almost find a life coach on every corner, just like you can a liquor store. So either way, you can get some help. or, not. But for me personally, I was led, God told me to go back to school, and he wanted me to be credentialed. And so I did. And so I got the degree as well as the certification. But you don't necessarily have to have a certification to become a life coach, because it's not a clinician. It's not required by the state, because you're not practicing and you're not administering, medication. You're not diagnosing. So all those things. So you're not necessarily required to have a degree or a certification. I've seen people just get 1 million views or likes, and they call themselves a life coach, or they call themselves influencers nowadays. So that may work for them, but that's not just for that. That's not for me. And I'm proud of the journey that I've taken, although it's been a little difficult. I had some challenges and obstacles to come my way, but I know if God had called me to do that, then, he was going to make good on it. So I just believe, you have to follow the way that's going to be best for you. So for me, I want it to be credentialed. So when somebody sees my name, they can see some letters behind it. And, it comes along with that credibility.
Yeah, that's really true. And it's so funny you said you can find a life coach on every corner like a liquor store. That's true, because people do. I mean, I think the first time a lot of people started hearing about a life coach or something like that is when they was watching Oprah, and she talked about Dr. Phil and getting and that kind of started that. And then you got other ones who came after Iyanla, right? And then and so it became sort of like this new buzz thing, so we've seen those things. But so I say, what type of advice do you provide as a life coach, or are you more of a consultant to individuals? I mean, and it could be whatever. If I came to you, what can I expect? I'm in my, I'm also the clown on the show, so you got to remember. So it's okay to laugh. It's okay to laugh.
David, I was going to say, what's wrong with me? Why do I need a life coach? I mean, how do I know I need a life coach? I know I need one. I'm just saying.
That's true. Yeah.
And it may not be anything wrong with you. It may just mean you need some improvement. You need some enhancement. You just need something to make you better than what you currently are. You could be good. So I've heard the saying, good is the enemy to better, or good is the enemy to best. So it may not necessarily be something wrong with you. And that's one of the things that people sometimes often misconstrue is, the difference between a life coach and a counselor. A counselor definitely, most often deals with trauma and the past. A life coach deals with the present and the future. So, we deal with where you are now, and then we try to get you to where you want to go. So to answer your question about a consultant, no, I'm not just a consultant. And God dropped something in my spirit last night while I was praying about this. And one thing he showed me was, he said a consultant focuses on the end result, but a life coach focuses on the journey. So as we walk with you each and every step and phase of this process, we're looking for some growth opportunities, but that's not going to be what our end result is as it relates to, say, for example, productivity. You want to be able to look in the mirror and say, hey, I've gotten what I need, and I feel like I'm confident. I feel like I'm comfortable now. I can be able to step out and do this new thing. I feel like I can go to this next level. Whereas a consultant, they have this model already set out. They're just going to plug in and play whatever the company needs. And the ultimate goal is to produce. The ultimate goal is to get money at the end of the day. But so my strategy or my focus is on the journey. We're going to walk this process day by day, step by step, as much as we possibly can to make sure that you achieve whatever it is that you're set out to do.
Wow.
I think that's, you dropped some really quite a few pearls there.
I've even read just recently in a study that was done between 2018 through 2020 that there's been an increase in hypertension amongst just Americans in general.
One of our things is our diet. So we have a high salt diet. And African Americans, increasing salt causes us to retain fluid, and that starts to also increase your blood pressure. Another disparity probably for us is that we don't go to the doctors regularly. So and probably African American men are probably worse than African American women, but we just don't go get regular checkups. Most people assume that when their blood pressure is high that they'll know, and that's false. Your blood pressure can be through the roof and you feel totally fine.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let's have a therapeutic conversation about how and why does resentment come about. You can't get resentment unless you've had repeated adverse experience and feelings, okay? As things happen to us, and it happens to us repeatedly, it has an adverse or negative impact, okay? And this is often the birthplace of negativity, the birthplace of bitterness.
When will someone know that they need a coach? I mean, because is it, you may have. How do you know when you need a coach? I mean, or you could just, is it because
Well, I mean, it differs from different people. If you're looking at your life and you're taking an evaluation of yourself and you're not happy with where you are and you can't seem to come up with what you need to do to become happy, then a life coach may be that individual that you need. Now if you're just having a rut, just a week at a time, and you can kind of talk yourself out of it, or you can get some feedback from somebody and you get over that, you may not necessarily need a life coach. But when you are really stuck and you've tried this and you tried that, and it's not working for you, and you just feel like you need more, then I definitely believe that a life coach would be someone that you can reach out to, and that can offer that assistance that you need. And one thing I like to look at it as, a coach standing on the sidelines of their players as they're practicing, or even during the game. I like to compare myself to that to a certain degree, because just like that coach who's on the sidelines giving that information, you want to prepare your players or your clients so when they get out on the field that they can play with the most intelligible information so that they can win. Because at the end, we all want to win. And so if I'm on the sidelines throwing plays, or if I'm on the sidelines encouraging you, or if I'm on the sidelines challenging you, because that's also something that a life coach needs to do, because we can get comfortable. I mean, we all do. Once we get in our comfort zone, once we feel that level of comfort, we don't like to be moved. We don't like to be stretched. So as a coach, I'm standing there. I see you. I know your potential. I see your potential. I've seen you in practice. I've seen you do this, or I've observed you do that. And I'm going to push you because I know that there's more in you that can come out of you. So that's some of the things that I like to do, that I like to pride myself in, is being able to motivate individuals, to encourage them to be able to get to that next level. And just to share you what I believe each one of those means, encourage definitely is to help you to do better, but then equip is to give you the tools to do better, and then empower is you having the confidence to go out and do better. So that's how it all kind of comes into play. I believe my role is, and what God has given me to do, to be able to help individuals so that they can, get to that next level.
Okay. Ashley, let me make this question kind of personal, hypothetically. What should I do in order to receive life coaching from you? For example, I'm going to give you a scenario. Okay, I'm out of work. I have bills at home. I have children. And every time I apply for a job, it's always, we don't need you. So right now I'm frustrated. what advice would you give me personally?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think sometimes there's an opportunity for that individual, and I mentioned earlier about reinventing themselves. What have you done in the past? Are you at a crossroads now where it's time for you to change altogether? Because I think sometimes when we're put in those positions, we tend to want to resort to the comfort. We want to resort to what we're familiar with. So let me go back, let me do something quick because I really need the money. I've got to get back on my feet. So let me jump back in it. But sometimes God allows us to get in those pathways so that he can shift us into a different direction. And had we not entered into that position that we're in where we're unemployed, we would never sometimes take that risk to do something else, to start walking in our purpose, to start doing what he called us to
Right,
do.
right. That's
So
good. That's good.
then I would encourage that individual, hey, don't be so quick. Yeah, I know the bills are piling up, but hey, let's pray about it. Let's see, is this an
That's good.
opportunity for us to change direction? Let us go in a different place. And then I would also, perhaps introduce them to individuals maybe that has the same background as them, that has the same skill set as them. So just basically just trying to help them walk through that particular season that they're in so that they'll know what to do when it's time to come out of it.
Okay. All right.
Wow, that's
Thank you. Very
good.
good. Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
So, Ms.
ma'am. Thank
Ashley,
you.
one of the things based upon what you just described to Ms. Hendricks, is there a typical period of time that you walk with someone as you're life coaching? Is it a year? Does it vary by individual or what the respective goals are?
Yes, it varies by individual and it depends on what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
I've had people to do it 3 months. I've had people 6 months. I've even had people, to do it, 4 months. It just depends on them. It depends on what they're looking for, and it depends on, how well they are grasping and improving and reaching those goals that they have. So it can vary. But what I usually try to do is when I schedule sessions with individuals, even prior to us ever meeting during the consultation period, I have to get their buy-in. They have to agree to, there's three things. Life coaching is not going to work if they're not all in, if they are not open, and if they're not willing to do the work. And so if they don't agree to those things, then, it's not going to be a good fit for us. And I usually kind of let them know up front. So we have to have an agreement, and they do sign contracts. And then
Okay.
again, depending on what it is, sometimes we meet weekly, but no less than biweekly. We can't afford to have a once a month meeting because there's so much that transpires, and you need to be able to come back, recap. You need to refocus. Sometimes you gotta, recalibrate. And so I really like to meet no less than twice a month, and sometimes it is weekly. And then just depending on the progression, and depending on, I let them decide at the end if they're ready to go and fly.
Okay.
So, after, say, for example, 3 months, when they say, okay, I believe I got everything I need, and then we'll agree to some terms. But usually at the front of the contract, we'll identify the time period. But if it needs to be extended, we'll do that. But if not, then, that's where we'll end up. But even after that, I still like to follow up with them to see how they're doing. So I always kind of stay connected with my clients.
Well, that's
Excellent.
Let me ask one question before David
that's so good.
is.
We're go ahead because we're
No,
winding
I
up.
was
Go
going to
ahead.
ask her. She was talking about her clients, and I was wondering how. Let me see how I want to say this. How is your clients, when they come to you with whatever concerns that they may have, how do they know when they have reached a point where they can say, okay, I don't need you anymore. I don't need to come anymore. Does that make any sense?
Well,
Yes.
we kind of decided together, and if they've,
Okay.
what we do, we set out a plan. And if we
Okay.
say, for example, we
Plan.
can check off that plan, check off the boxes,
Yeah.
and they feel comfortable
Right.
with, you know,
Uh-huh.
say, for example, if it
Okay.
was a career, if they needed career coaching and they wanted to shift gears, they were in one industry and they want to shift to another industry. And so we
Right.
walk through the
Okay.
process of them transitioning to that next industry. So we would
Gotcha.
continue the relationship until that has happened. So
Gotcha.
that may
Okay.
go out for 6 months, that may be 3 months, but even after they've transitioned to that industry, I still like to stay connected with them to see how they're doing. Because sometimes, once you get out there, you don't want to cut the cord because, you got the butterflies because you're starting something
Yeah.
new. You still need somebody to kind of push you and encourage you like, hey, you can do it. I know it's new, but
Yes.
it's foreign.
That's good.
So I don't just completely cut the ties. There's always a connection. I like to remain connected to my clients
Very
at all
good.
times.
Awesome. Yes, that's good.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Very good.
Well, I had a question. I can't get to it because we're running out of time. You're talking to me in my ear.
Sorry.
So what I'm going to, after those of you if you're just tuning in, this is Forever Young, and we're talking about fulfilling life's purpose with Montre Ashley, who's a life coach. And so because I'm being selfish now, since I couldn't get my other questions in, can I entice you to come back and let's do a part 2 so that we can get some more information out, some more valuable information out you, and I can get my other question in?
Yes, sir. I would love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much. Like I said, this is Forever Young. This is, time goes so fast when you have engaging guests like yourself, and when the information is good. And like I said, we do it like we're in the living room. We're just talking, and you know how it is. You start talking, and you look like, oh, I got to get out of here. And so that's the case for us today. So once again, we want to thank you for being a part of Forever Young. On behalf of my 2 co-hosts, Gene Hendricks and Sharon Mitchell, and of course, our executive producer, Dr. E. Dewey Smith, and the entire Hope TV production crew, Cami, who makes sure that we get in on place and make sure we look well. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and join us every week at this time for another edition for Forever Young, because as we say, age ain't nothing but a number, and you are forever young. Until the next time, I'm David Seelington. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay.
I've even read just recently in a study that was done between 2018 through 2020 that there's been an increase in hypertension amongst just Americans in general.
One of our things is our diet. So we have a high salt diet. And African Americans, increase in salt causes us to retain fluid, and that starts to also increase your blood pressure. Another disparity probably for us is that we don't go to the doctors regularly. And probably African American men are probably worse than African American women, but we just don't go get regular checkups. Most people assume that when their blood pressure is high that they'll know, and that's false. Your blood pressure can be through the roof and you feel totally fine.